This is the Louie T Network.
The Redskins Report.
Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here today on a somber Redskins report. Well, Redskins faithful, I'm hurting this morning. I can't hide it. I'm not even going to try to act as if I'm not. That one hurt. I mean, I feel like Florida Evans on Good Times when she found out that James died. Damn, damn, damn. I'm hurting this morning. I mean, that game was emotionally and mentally taxing on me. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a roller coaster of emotions in that game, and I'm taxed. I'm drained. I mean, that one took a lot out of me. I cannot lie. I can't hide it. That one stings. It really does. And I'm here to tell you that we're done. We are officially done. I did this last year. And even though I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to give it to you raw, straight, no chaser. You know how I like to do it. And you can call me what you like. I'm just giving you straight facts. Much like Randy Moss, straight cash, homie, straight facts, homie. And this is how it's going to all boil down. This all feels, it smells like last season. Let me give you the similarities. We play against a team that we feel like we should be able to beat. Last year we were at home versus Carolina. They came into the game at 1-6. We deemed that game a must win. We lost. We said the season was over. It was followed by a bye week. Fast forward to 2013, we're 3-5. We're playing a 1-7 Minnesota football team that we need to beat. We deem this a must-win football game. We lose. We're going into a semi-bye week. So the similarities there, very stunning. You look at the next similarity that's probably even more eerily similar. The next team that we played coming off the bye last season, Philadelphia Eagles. The next team we play coming off of this semi-bye, Philadelphia Eagles. So a lot of similarities between what we did last season and this year, but that's where the similarities end. We are not, I repeat, we are not going on a 7-game winning streak this season. And the reason why this game was so crushing, so debilitating, this is another loss within the conference. You got to look at what we're doing in our body of work. If you want to make the postseason, say the Redskins win their next 6 out of 7 games and get to 9-7 on the season. And that's not going to happen either, by the way. But just hypothetically speaking, let's say the Redskins win their next 6 out of 7. Right now, as it stands, our record in the NFC conference, which is one of the tiebreakers, which is one of the first ones they look at when they're determining who's going to get in to the playoffs. Our record in the conference, 1-5. So keep in mind, we only beat 2 teams in the AFC West, and we beat the Chicago Bears. We lost to the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, and now the Minnesota Vikings. So we're 1-5 in the NFC. So even if we tried to make a playoff push, we would not get in off the strength of our lackluster NFC conference record. So, and I already said this earlier, and I think you already know this by now. The only team getting into the playoffs from the NFC East anyway, and that's the way it should be, as bad as this conference or division, has been this season, is the division winner. Nobody from this division deserves a wild card unless somebody gets hot. Say Dallas plays good football and the Eagles get hot right behind them, and Dallas ends up being 11-5 this year, and Philadelphia ends up being 10-6, or Dallas ends up being 10-6, so does Philadelphia, but Dallas owns the tiebreaker, and so Philadelphia gets in at 10-6. Then I'll accept that. But as it stands right now, this division stinks. Nobody is going to go on a run and get hot like that. And so it's only going to be one team out of this division. So honestly, tiebreakers don't even matter because we aren't going anywhere. I don't even want you envisioning a 7-game winning streak because it's not happening. Another thing that's going to stop us from doing what we did last season. Our schedule. Last year, we had Dallas twice, Philly twice, Giants, Baltimore, and Cleveland. The only game that looked scary, looking at the schedule from afar last season, was that Baltimore game. We were like, man, the Ravens are tough. They're coming to FedEx. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that one. But all the rest of the games, winnable football games. We disposed of Dallas on Thanksgiving. We had them at the end of the season at home. We weren't afraid of them. The Eagles were anemic last season, so 2 games against the Eagles were 2 freebies essentially. The Giants, we had them at home. We still haven't even played the Giants at Giant Stadium yet. And oh, by the way, we struggle in New York. It's just something that happens every season. We do not win football games in New York. We have to go there. We have to play them at home. We have to play the Eagles in Philadelphia. I think that's a winnable game. But we got Dallas again. But we got Kansas City and we got San Francisco in there. And we got to go to Atlanta. They're struggling this year, but nothing is for certain. And we can't take anything for granted because we're not a good football team. So down the stretch, our schedule is brutal. That's why we had to get back to 500 just to give ourselves a chance. We blew that opportunity. So forget about that 7-game winning streak. And another thing, last year, when we lost this game last year, when we went to 3-6 with that loss to Carolina, that game last season was frustrating. I was mad. I was angry. I came on this very program the very next day and I went on a tirade. I went on a rant for about 45 minutes straight and I just went postal, okay? Because I was frustrated because that team was better than 3-6. And I knew that, you knew that, and they weren't playing good enough. They weren't playing up to their full potential. And it was frustrating because we were scoring points. And even though the defense wasn't good, they were forcing an inordinate amount of turnovers. That team deserved to be better than 3-6 last season. This year, it's more debilitating. Yesterday's loss for me was demoralizing because it wasn't frustrating. It was demoralizing because what I realized yesterday is we're not good enough. And I didn't want to admit that. I thought we had turned the corner. And this is the 3rd time. And look, 1 time, okay, fine, you got me. 2 times, shame on you. 3 times, I'm not falling for it again. This is the 3rd time I thought we had turned the corner. After the Raiders game, I said, okay, we got some momentum. Here we are. We got our first win of the season. Let's get it started. And we lose. So I said, okay, maybe we're not as good as I thought. Then we scored 45 in a very valiant effort against Chicago. And I'm like, man, the offense looks good. The defense played a good half of football. And then they threw a wrench in the plans by having Josh McCown come in the game. We're okay. We're starting to get it. Here we come. Then we go and we lose another football game. And that Denver game was expected. So, okay, fine. That happened. Then we come back and we win. And you're feeling good about that San Diego Chargers winning. And that was the one. That was the one that really got me thinking, here we go. We got it. The defense looked good in that game. The offense came around. And I said, oh, here we go. Defense has been playing good for about 2.5 weeks now. Offense is starting to show life. Here we go. We got it. I think we finally found the formula for winning in 2013. And then this happens. And we're not good. And that was the demoralizing part about last night. Last year, we were a good football team. We just weren't making enough winning plays early in the season. This year, we're not a good football team. Plain and simple. We're not a good team. And last night, I finally had to come to grips with the fact that we're just not a good football team. We're not good enough. And that hurts. It hurts to have to look in the mirror and say, man, we're just not good enough to beat a 1-7 Minnesota Vikings football team. We're not good enough to go on the road and win consecutive football games. We're not good enough to win 2 games in a row. We're not a good enough football team. And that's what was so demoralizing, so debilitating about last night's loss. That's why it was so mentally taxing and draining on me, because we were up by 13 points, had the game well in hand, and then the defense couldn't get stops. And then to come down at the end and have a shot, it was just a high, then it was a low, then it was a chance, and then a ray of hope, and then it was gone, and you lose a football game. So it was so many emotions, so many ebbs and flows, so many ups and downs. I'm just mentally drained after that one. That one really stung. So let's get into the breakdown for this game. I mean, I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible, as quick and painless as possible. This one really stinks, honestly. We kick it away from Cordell Patterson on the first possession, opening kickoff. We get the ball after halftime. You know that makes me a happy man. Kicking away from Cordell Patterson is smart. This isn't a Redskins have a bad special teams unit kick away from Cordell Patterson move. This is, hey, this guy is ultra dynamic. Let's not kick it to him. This is universal around the league. He's shredding special teams units everywhere, not just us. So this wasn't just one of those situations where we were terrified of kicking it off because our special teams unit stinks. This was more along the lines of, hey, this guy is a special breed. Let's not kick it to him. So I didn't have a problem with that. Sack by Rack. You're not going to hear me say that too many more times this season. I don't say it as often as it is. But yeah, Rack got a sack. Hey, how about that? Next play, interception by Brandon Merriweather, return out to midfield. So great start to the game. Exactly what I expected from Christian Ponder to give us opportunities to force mistakes and turnovers. But that was about it for us. I mean, defensively, that was as good as it got. And that's a shame. That is an absolute travesty that's the best defensive possession we had all game. A quick side note before I move on. I was disappointed before the game started. I talked about wanting to see Brandon Jenkins get on the field and get pressure on the quarterback because we don't get pressure on the quarterback. He was inactive. I saw that right before the game, and that really hurt my heart because you're telling me that you don't have a roster spot. You don't have one roster spot available for a guy that can get to the quarterback. Find somewhere for this guy to play, okay? He needs to be active. We're not good enough at getting to the quarterback for him not to be active on Sundays. Find a special teams role for this guy. Find an active roster spot for Brandon Jenkins. No excuse for this guy not to be getting snaps, not to be getting developed, not to be on the field. I told you I like what I saw from him against San Diego in week number 9. He should have been on the field in this game. Now, I don't know what's going on in practice. Honestly, I don't give a damn. Get the man in the game. Give him a roster spot on Sundays, or in this case, on a Thursday night, so that he can showcase his skills and learn the nuances of the National Football League. I was disappointed. Anyway, our first possession, great catch by Hank on first down, or excuse me, on the first third down of the game. And what time is it? Hank, time. What time is it? Hank, time. 85 in the house. 85 in the house. And he had some really good catches, really good gains in this game. You know what? I'm so proud of Hank. He's come a long way. He's really starting to emerge as that number 2 option at the wide receiver position. This pass was low, and he had to dig it up. And he was on a run, and he was going in the opposite direction, and it was slightly behind him, and he picked it up, and he kept it going. So great catch by Hank on the first third down of the game. And that was a sign of things to come for the first half. We were just electric on third down. We picked right up where we left off at in the San Diego game on third downs. And that catch, I think, kind of set the tone for that. Halou for 10 on the screen, then AM 15 yards. Man, that was a grown man run. That's one of those AM, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's Alfred Morris. Get up, get up, get up. Get him the football type of runs where he just bouncing off of people, lowering his shoulder, and just looking like a battering ram. That's the AM we know and love. So, 7 yards for Robert sets up 3rd and 3 from the 8-yard line. Pass interference on the rookie Rhodes in the end zone nets us a first down and goal from the 1-yard line. At this point, you got to get in the end zone. I don't care who you're playing against. I don't care what team it is. I don't care who the team is. You got to get in the end zone. No excuses. You're at the 1-yard line. You can't get in. You got 3 opportunities. And if it was me, and if this was the Mike Shanahan with balls from last season, it would have been 4 opportunities from the 1. You got to score a touchdown. And if you can't score a touchdown from the 1-yard line, guess what? You don't deserve to win the football game. And so, and you know the motto. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. So, you need to get in the end zone right here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Christian Ponder gives us a gift. Brandon Merriweather returns it to midfield. We get all the way to the 1 yard line. It's first and goal from the 1. Punch it in. Run on first down. Unsuccessful. We lose about a half a yard. Play action fake on second down. Unsuccessful, incomplete. Then we go to lumberjack on third down. Robert puts a hot sauce shot to lumberjack. Come on. That pass was hot. And there was no way lumberjack was going to come down. Robert's got to throw that ball a little bit easier. It wasn't like it was a tight window and he had to fit it in there. He just threw that extremely hard for no reason. And soon as lumberjack came out of his break and turned around, the ball was on him. And I mean, it was a fastball. It was a gasser. That one had some cheese on it. No way he was coming down with that. So that one, I put that more on Robert than lumberjack, but it's still a drop. Nonetheless, he got his hands on it. But I've seen lumberjack come down with passes like that, but Robert threw that entirely too hard. That's like from me to this camera and me throwing it as hard as I can. That's what Robert did essentially on that play. That was bad play calling. Let me get that out of the way before I move on. That was terrible play calling. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have mind seeing AM get it 3 times straight. Stop me from the 1 3 times in a row. I don't think Minnesota could have done it, honestly. Stop AM. The guy is a battering ram. He has a nose for the end zone. Run AM 3 straight times. And like I said, if this was the Mike Shanahan from last year with nothing to lose, with balls, he goes for this. The Mike Shanahan of this year is conservative. He's scared because he knows our defense stinks and he knows that we need all the momentum we can get, and not scoring any points would be catastrophic for our team's psyche. So he went and kicked the field goal. But again, scared money doesn't make money. That's always been the motto. That's how I grew up. Scared money don't make money. And if you're afraid to gamble and risk it from the 1 yard line, make the Vikings go 99 yards for a touchdown. If they can do that, tip the cap to them. But don't be afraid. When you're afraid, that's when you lose football games. He kicks a field goal, essentially an extra point. It's 3-0. So that's disappointing. That's not a win for us. That's a win for the Vikings. We didn't accomplish anything. We got a measly field goal on a possession that was first and goal from the 1 yard line. No, I'm not excited about a field goal. We're up 3-0, but I'm not happy. Good tackle by Jarvis Jenkins on Adrian Peterson to force third down. Vikings pick it up to Jerome Simpson. They get the first down. Then they tack on a personal foul, roughing the passer on Chris Baker. That was an egregious call. That's as bad a call as you're going to see for a roughing the passer penalty on a player in the National Football League. He didn't lead with the crown of his helmet. He didn't make helmet-to-helmet contact. He hit him square in the midsection with his face mask, and he drove him to the turf. It wasn't late. He didn't take 2 steps and give him a shot. This was bang, bang. It was a clean shot, and he was flagged for something that he should not have been flagged for. It was an egregious call, and I actually thought this officiating crew did a horrendous job in this football game. They missed a plethora of holding penalties. There were some botched calls, and this was one of them. I was very disappointed with the officiating in this game. Is it me, or do the Redskins just not get holding penalties called? Rockpo and Kerrigan, and when we blitz, it seems like we're being held on every single snap, yet there isn't a flag thrown. Is it just me, or is it, and I don't want to seem like I'm complaining or I'm begging for calls, because I don't do that. It's not what I do. I'm not a beggar. You know, beggars can't be choosers. I'm not a guy that's going to sit here and cry over spilled milk. But is it me? Is it just me, or doesn't it seem like we get held a lot and it's not called? I don't know. I'm asking you guys, because maybe I'm going crazy. I don't know. That's just some food for thought. You go ahead and do the dishes and wipe the table off when you're finished. So, Minnesota gets the ball at the 15-yard line now after that egregious personal foul penalty and the gain by Simpson on that third down. And then Adrian Peterson, 17-yard touchdown run, 7-3 Minnesota. I mean, that's so frustrating on so many different levels. You don't get the touchdown, and then you go back, you give up a touchdown, you get them the third down, and I'm going to tell you what, third downs were a nightmare. As good as we were on third downs in this first half and against San Diego, we were equally as bad, if not worse, on getting off the field on third downs against Minnesota in this game. We were atrocious on third downs getting off the field in this game. And again, if you can't get off the field on third downs, you're not going to win the football game. The other team is going to sustain offense and score points. So that was one of the Achilles heels in this game. AM for 2, then 2 more for Lumberjack on play action fake brings 3rd and 6. We got to burn an early timeout. I don't mind burning timeouts in the first half of a football game. You know how I feel. In the second half, different story. They're precious. You got to take care of them. It's the first half. Knock yourself out. You want to burn all 3 of the timeouts? Knock yourself out. Jay for 8 and a first down. Then Hank for 29. I told you. What time is it? Hey, time. What time is it? Hey, time. 85 in the house. 85 in the house. Hank was big in this game, and I see him starting to mature right in front of my eyes. I'm done with Joshua Morgan. I found my number 2 receiver. His name is Leonard Hankerson. So 29 for Hank. AM for 5 more. Then a huge 31-yard run for AM sets up Pierre Garçon for 8 yards on a wide receiver screen and a touchdown. It's 10-7. That drive was flawless. It was easy. It was clean. It was efficient. It was Redskins football. So that's how you draw it up every possession. That possession is as good as it gets. And we moved it right down the field. It was easy. Easy money. I felt like we had the Staples button in our hand and we pressed it because that drive was easy. 10-7, we're up. That's what we were supposed to do when we got the ball the first time, get in the end zone, not settle for a field goal. Encroachment on Baker, which is his second penalty of the game. Again, the first one was the personal foul, and I didn't agree with it. So the encroaching penalty gives them a 1st and 5. That's followed up by AD for 16 yards. That's the end of the first quarter, so Vikings on the move again as we come to the end of the first quarter. We're up 10-7. Redskins finally get off the schneid and score their first quarter touchdown of the season, which tells you how anemic this offense has been this season, especially in the first half. Redskins finally get a touchdown in the first quarter. We're up 10-7. 20 yards for Cordell Patterson. Perry Riley, personal foul on 3rd down. That's as stupid a penalty as you can commit. And that's another thing about this team this year. We weren't stupid last year. We didn't do dumb things last year. Now, we might have been a very penalized team a season ago, but it wasn't because of guys having lapses in concentration and being stupid. It was because of guys just making mistakes. I can live with a mistake here and there. What I can't live with is stupidity, and that is the definition of stupidity on Perry Riley. A guy chucks you at the end of the play, and I don't care if you've been talking trash with him all game. Doesn't matter. They never catch the first guy. They always catch the second one. And Perry Riley turns around, and like Mike Mayock says, he was like a heat-seeking missile. He went through 4 Viking defenders to find the guy that pushed him and gives him a strong chuck right in front of the official. How stupid can you be? And that was 3rd down. They had 3rd and goal from about the 9-yard line. You pick up that stupid personal foul penalty. You give them 1st and goal from about the 4-yard line. What do you think is going to happen after that? That was as dumb as it gets. So after the dang old penalty, it leads to a touchdown for Cordell Patterson. It's 14-10. I mean, you want to win games on the road? We're not a good enough football team. We're 3-5 for a reason. You want to win games on the road? You cannot commit stupid penalties like that. Gave them an opportunity to get a touchdown, and that's exactly what they did. They cashed in. It's 14-10. They're up. Jay Reed for 12 on 3rd and 8. Then AM for 8 more. Then AM 1st down on 3rd down. So we're moving the football again. And like I said, we were dynamic in the first half on offense. Pierre Garçon running angry for 32 yards. And just like Mike Mayock said, he runs mad. And he ran angry on this play. And it seems like he's got a chip on his shoulder. Like somebody told him he would never amount to anything and that he feels overlooked because he was undrafted out of Mount Union College. I just feel like he's angry when he has a football. I love Pierre Garçon. I love his intensity and the way he plays the game. He plays the game angry. Like somebody has to pay. And I don't know what they're paying for, but somebody's got to pay when Pierre Garçon has the football. Even when he doesn't have the football, this guy's an aggressive blocker. He just plays the game aggressively. There's not another player on this team that plays as aggressive as Pierre Garçon. Maybe AM, but this guy, he wants it on every single play. I love Pierre Garçon. So, after the 32-yard gain, AM for 9 for a first down. Jared Allen, keep your country ass away from my quarterback's knees. Jared Allen down there in the danger zone, stay away from the knees, man. I'm not going through another offseason with surgery and whatnot. Stay away from my quarterback's knees. Keep your country ass away from the knees, man. You want to go up top? Knock yourself out. Stay away from the knees, man. That's my last time warning you. Trent Williams' false start turns 3rd and goal from the 6 to 3rd and goal from the 11. Still, Jay Reed, 11-yard touchdown. It's now 17-14. This thing right here, this play that resulted in a Jay Reed 11-yard touchdown pass, a thing of beauty. You can't do it any better than Robert did it on this play. He had time. That was the first thing. He had time. Offensive line gave him the adequate time to go through his progressions. He wanted to hit Jay Reed on the slant earlier, but he was being baited by linebacker Chad Greenway, and Chad was waiting on him to unload that slant. He was going to jump it and pick it, and Robert saw him, and this was so gorgeous. He pumps the slant, and Chad Greenway, he bites down on it like Spike. And after that pump fake, Robert has pressure in his face, doesn't have time to step up in the pocket, and he just unloads a rifle as he's being hit. I don't even know how he got it off. And like Brad Nessler said in the telecast, I don't know how he got enough sauce on that. He had sauce on that one, and it was pinpoint accurate. Jay Reed dives in, touchdown, 17-14. Gorgeous execution. It doesn't get any better than that. Flawless. That was flawless. We're up 17-14. Vikes go 3 and out after Simpson falls down. And that play right there, that let me know we're in trouble. Because if Jerome Simpson doesn't fall down on that play, it's another 3rd down conversion. And it was crazy because Christian Ponder was like 9 of 10 to start the game before this incompletion. Like that was his first pass that hit the ground. Because he was 9 of 9, and then he had the one interception that Brandon Merriweather caught. So none of his passes had hit the ground until Simpson fell down. And that just shows you how bad we were. And it's like we were playing timid. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But get Joshua Morgan off of punts, please. You took him off a kickoff. I asked for that. Now I'm asking, I'm begging, I'm pleading. Please get him off of punt. Put Santana Moss back there. End of discussion. He doesn't do anything else. Slot player, maybe 10 to 15 snaps a game. Put him back there on punt. I'm pretty sure he can do a much better job than Joshua Morgan can. He scares me back there. He didn't fair catch it. He fumbled the ball. This could have been a catastrophic play in the game. Luckily, he got a gratuitous bounce, fell right by his legs. He was able to scoop it up, and no harm, no foul. But he's dangerous. He scares me. I do not want him back there anymore. AM starts drive with 7. Then Robert keeper for 3 yards in the first down. Garçon grabs 17 off a play action fake. Gains of 1 and 4 by AM sets up 3rd and 5. Garçon for 12 more and another first down. Then Jay Reed for 13. Now the Tannerman gets involved for 13. We spike it with 24 seconds left. Then we get a delay of game, which makes absolutely no sense. You can't spike it and then turn around and take too long in the huddle and get a delay of game. That makes absolutely no sense. But again, with the Washington Redskins, that's what we do. We do things that don't make sense, like call a timeout and then get a delay of game. That's something that we would do. Or mismanage the clock late in the half. That's something that we would do because we are the Redskins and we don't do things conventionally. So we spike it, we get a delay of game, which now pushes the ball back from the 8 to the 13-yard line. Robert takes off and takes a hellacious shot at the goal line, but he gets a 12-yard gain down to the 1. And the most important thing is he gets up and he's fine, so I'm fine. If he's fine, I'm fine. Now we're at the 1 we burn our final timeout. So now, if you're the Vikings, we got to throw the football. It's first down, excuse me. But we gotta run, but we gotta throw the football. We can't run because we don't have any more timeouts. And there's about 17 seconds or so left on the clock for the half. You can't afford to run the football, get stopped, and you know the Vikings aren't going to get up fast and they're going to stall as long as they can. We don't have enough time to run the field goal unit out because it's third down, and so we had to spike the football when we got down, and it's going to be a pass. But they come out and they're all confused. Logan Paulson and Niles Paul are both open on play action fake. Robert tosses it to the lumberjack. Touchdown. It's 24-14 at this point. You are probably at an all-time high in this game. Maybe you get a little higher in the second half, and I'll tell you the point where you probably got a little higher. But going into the half up 10, and the way we dominated in the first half, you had to feel like we had this game. I know I did. I actually started laughing because I felt like, hey, and we get the ball after halftime? Are you serious? The way we're moving the football? We're about to put up 31. After half, we're going to get another touchdown. And after we do that, they'll be demoralized. They'll be down 17. They'll be down 3 scores. They'll start to say, here we go again. And then we got them right where we want them. We got them in the danger zone. So it's 24-14 at the half. I'm feeling really good. I mean, you can't tell me anything. The one thing, though, that won't allow me to fully just let loose and feel like we have this game. And again, last year, the Redskins untrained me, and I didn't think they would be able to do this, but they untrained me as a Redskins fan. You, myself, and every one of us out there are preconditioned to think that the worst is going to happen because we're Redskins fans, and the worst always happens to us. Always. And so last year during that 7-game winning streak, bad things stopped happening. You started expecting to win. You didn't expect teams to come back. When the Eagles went down the field for that game-winning drive last year in Philadelphia, you didn't expect them to get in the end zone. You know why? Because you expected the Redskins to get the stop to win the game. But this year, I'm back into that preconceived train of thought that sees us doing something bad to lose the football game. I'm preconditioned again to think the worst. Always. Even when we're winning, I always think we're still going to lose because the Redskins have trained me to think that way with their bad play on the field. So even though we're up 24-14 and even though we're getting the ball after the half, I won't feel comfortable until we score that touchdown after the half to extend the lead out to 31-14. But at least we have the option to do that because we got the ball after the half. That's why I like getting the ball after halftime. So the reason why I was still a little questionable as to whether we could still win this game or not was because defensively, we haven't stopped the Vikings yet. Christian Ponder is eating us alive. Adrian Peterson, 7 carries, I think, at the halftime for like 44 yards. That's over 6 yards a pop. So he was dominating us early on. If not for Jerome Simpson slipping down and falling, I don't think we stopped the Vikings one time offensively other than the interception. So they've had the ball 4 times, 1 pick, 1 fall down by Jerome Simpson. The other 2 were touchdown drives. So honestly, we haven't stopped these guys. So I'm a little nervous. Get this touchdown and you'll calm me down. AM for 4 yards, then 14 to start the second half. Robert for 5 leads to 3rd and 5, which Hank picks up 11 to move the sticks. What time is it? Hank, time. What time is it? Hank, time. 85 in the house. 85 in the house. Love it, Hank, in this game. Hank is coming up clutch. I love it. Kevin Williams' sack sets up 3rd and 15. Garcon for 30 and a first down leads to your guy, my guy, our guy, Kai Forbath on a 40-yard field goal attempt. It's 27-14. Not what I had in mind. Okay? Not what I had in mind. But I'll take it. It's points. And you're already winning. So anytime you can get more points, I'm fine with that. So I'll take the field goal from 40 and extend the lead to 13 at 27-14. Now I need to stop. And this is what I talked about last game against San Diego and against Chicago. The inability to get that stop that allows you to put a team away. If we get a stop after going up 27-14, if we get one stop, The way the offense is moving the football, Minnesota to this point has not forced us to punt the football yet. Not once. We haven't had to see nasty Sav Rocca on the field once yet. And if you watched the Vikings game a week ago against Green Bay, guess what? The Packers did not punt the football not once in that game en route to 44 points for the Green Bay Packers. So I was figuring we could do something like that. We don't have to punt today. The way this offense is moving the football, the way we're converting third downs, the way that AM is running the football and setting up play action fake, giving Robert easy throws to Pierre Garçon and Jay Reed and company and Hank, they're not going to stop us. So I just need one stop. All I need is one stop. All I need is one stop. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. And I said it last week and I said it against Chicago. The inability to get that one stop to give us a chance to put teams away is killing us this season. It is absolutely killing us. Last year against Cleveland, we needed that one stop to give us the football back, to move down the field and put them away. And what do? We got a pick, and we turn that pick into a touchdown, and we put the Cleveland Browns away in blowout fashion. We need one stop. That's all I'm asking for. One stop. Reed Dowdy, nice stop on Adrian Peterson on Vikes' first play of the second half. Then AD for 9. Then Carlson for 16. And John Carlson absolutely shredded us in this game. I'd shudder to think at what would have happened if Kyle Rudolph was healthy. Because we let the backup, and John Carlson isn't your average backup. He's a really solid tight end out of Notre Dame, much like Kyle Rudolph is. But he's not Kyle Rudolph. He's not supposed to kill us like he did. But he did. And that was pathetic. Our defense against him, absolutely. Our defense against, let me address this now, because I said I was going to come back to it later. No, I'll hit it later. When he gets hurt, I'll hit it then. I'll hit it then. 16 for Carlson. Vikings are moving the ball, and this is what I talked about. Vikings moving the ball on our defense. I just need one stop. I'm not asking for much, just one stop. Fellas, that's it. Great tackle by D. Hall on AD to force 3rd and 4. Jennings comes up big and converts on 3rd down for the 1st down. So here we are again, finding ourselves putting the Vikings in 3rd down situations and finding ourselves not being able to get off the field on 3rd down situations. It was a golden opportunity to force the Vikings off the field on 3rd down. We can't stop them from converting on 3rd down. They continue to move the sticks. Then they run a beautiful play action fake for Christian Ponder. They roll him out to his left. And there are a lot of things that Christian Ponder does not do well. But the one thing that I can say about him is he throws the ball beautifully across his body, rolling out to the left on his opposite hand. So when he's going out to the left, he's a right-handed quarterback. He's got to square his body to the line of scrimmage and throw it. He does that just as well as anybody in the league. I give him credit for that. You'll see him do that 2 or 3 times in the course of a ball game, and he'll be pinpoint accurate when he does it. He was pinpoint accurate on this game, and it wasn't hard on this particular play to John Carlson because there was nobody around him. He hits John Carlson wide open. He gets to the pylon, dives, extends the football, scores a touchdown. I just needed one stop, fellas. That was it. I just needed one stop. You couldn't do it. 21-27. We're still up by 6. Now we got to answer. Now we must answer. Now the margin for error is gone. We can't afford to punt them the football because guess what? As bad as they've been on defense against us, we've been equally as bad. Again, we haven't stopped them but 2 times. One was the interception on a 3rd and long, which was essentially like a punt because it was 3rd and long. We had sacked him on the previous play. He just heaved it up. It was picked off. It was just like a punt. And the other one was a fall, a slip and fall by Simpson on 3rd down, which netted us an opportunity to force them to punt the football. Other than that, 3 touchdowns by the Vikings. So we are not stopping them on defense. We're in trouble. So we got to score. Whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, we got to score something because these guys aren't stopping on offense. We can't stop them. AM starts to drive off with 5. Then Garçon for 2 sets up 3rd and 3. Robert a little high. Garçon can't come down with it. We got to punt. And Garçon could have caught this one, but Robert has to make a better throw here. There's no excuse. I'm starting to see that he struggles just a tad bit on throws out to the far hash to the left-hand side of the field. He struggled last week. He struggled again this week. Hankerson had to make a high catch on a third down for 11 yards in the first half where he had to go up and drag his feet. And I honestly thought they could have challenged that. I didn't know if he had actually got his feet in or not. But Robert struggles out to the, and not with velocity or anything, just with accuracy. Sometimes the ball sails on him when he's throwing. Remember San Diego last week? 3rd down and 4. End of the game. We pick up this first down. We probably are able to bleed the clock for San Diego to use their timeouts. He throws an out to Garcon. He airmails it about 10 yards over Garcon's head. Everything to that far hash out on the left-hand side by the sidelines, he just struggles. And that's a play where he'd love to have that one back, because if we pick up that first down, I think we get the offense jump-started again. But instead, we don't convert. We got to punt the football. Here we are, trying to be special. We're pulling out all the stops. We try a fake punt. Nobody was on the same page. Apparently, I listened to the comments after the game, and apparently what happened was this is a call on the field by the players. If you get a certain look and there's nobody covering, the gunner, this is one of those spontaneous plays where you make eye contact, you throw it out there, and you run. Well, Niles Paul never made eye contact. Savraka seemed to see that there was nothing going on out there, and so he went to throw the football. Jerome Murphy, he didn't get the memo. He comes crashing down as the play is starting to be snapped. He's in motion. He never gets set, so it's a penalty anyway. But Niles Paul had no idea, had no clue the ball was coming his way. So everybody wasn't on the same page. We weren't in sync on that play. If you're going to run a fake, because we caught a break that Jerome Murphy was moving, because Niles Paul had no clue the ball was coming to him. He thought it was a punt that hit him, and he started to dive on the football. That goes to show you he had no idea the ball was coming his way. If you're going to try something like that, everybody involved needs to be on the same page. Because if we don't convert that, say Jerome Murphy isn't flagged for a penalty, the Vikings would have had the ball at our 30-yard line. So if you're going to try something like that, it's got to work. And we had no idea what was going on. And that's all the reporters wanted to talk about after the game. Forget that fake punt, okay? Forget about chicanery and trickery and all that nonsense. You line up and knock snot bubbles out of the guy in front of you. Forget about trickery, okay? That's all they wanted to talk about. What happened on the fake punt? What happened on the... Forget about the fake punt. Pick up third downs. Get off the field on third downs. Forget about trickery. You win at the line of scrimmage. You win by getting off the field on third downs. You win by scoring touchdowns. You win by converting third downs on offense. And we didn't do that in the second half. So forget about the fake punt. Then Cheryl's, and to make matters worse, okay, it's not bad enough that we get a penalty. It's not bad enough that Niles Paul had no clue that the ball was coming to him on a perfectly well-timed fake punt. But we punt the football, and Marcus Sherrills bust off about a good 18 to 22-yard return. So it's great field position at midfield, and then DY loses his cool and absolutely gives a guy a stiff arm, grabs the face mask, shakes him, and then smushes his face away. What in the hell has gotten into us in this game? Guys are just flying off the handle, picking up personal fouls. What is wrong with you guys? You know better than this. And I don't expect that from DY. Perry Riley, maybe. Maybe he does something stupid like that, like he did earlier in the game. Not DY. DY is a level-headed guy. What are we doing here, fellas? What the hell is going on out there? So now they got the ball at the 35. Hell, they're already in field goal range. Kerrigan, tackle for a loss on AD. So we start to drive up, and we found ourselves doing this a lot in this game. We'll start off a possession with a 2 or 3 yard loss on Adrian Peterson, and we still would allow them to pick up a first down. Whether it be 9 on second down to force 3rd and 4 and they pick it up, or Adrian Peterson, and I'll talk about that later, breaks off a 14-yard run on 2nd and 13. I mean, we just couldn't get out of our own way in the second half. So, AD tackled for a loss. And this is when, this was the possession right here. This was the possession where I started to turn on the Redskins and I realized we're going to lose this game. This was the possession that did it for me. This was the one that was eye-opening because, and I hate to continue to go back to last year, but that's the only reference that I have because we haven't played good football this year. So I have to go back to the last time we played good football, and that was last season. And on this possession, I saw enough to know that we weren't going to win this game. Let me explain. We get AD for a tackle for loss. On second down, they try to run a screen. What time is it when they try to run a screen? And they try to cut Kerrigan, and they don't cut him. If it's unsuccessful on the cut and Kerrigan's up, you know what's next. One of two things. You're either going to have the ball batted, and he's going to pick it off, or he's just going to pluck it out of the air and run. Kerrigan jumps up. They try to cut him. Not having it. He reads screen. Jumps up. Gets both hands on the football. Now, I know my man Ryan does not have the greatest hands in the world. But when has he ever dropped one of those? When? Wasn't against the Giants 2 years ago in his rookie season. Wasn't against the Giants last season. Sure wasn't against Matt Ryan and the Falcons last year. Wasn't against the Steelers in the preseason this year. He never drops that. Never. Ever. He dropped it on this one. And that's when I said, we're in trouble. Because they're going to convert this third down. And it was 3rd and 13. We had stopped AD for a 3-yard loss on first down. Kerrigan drops the pick six on the next play. It's 3rd and 13. And I said, if we don't get off the field here and force them to kick a field goal, we're going to lose the game. So Jim Haslett says, I agree with you. So you know what I'll do? I'll send a blitz. One of the few blitzes that we came with all game. And he sends an overload blitz on the right side of the Vikings offensive line. And keep in mind, no Phil Loadholt in this game. They've got funky Jamarcus Webb. Bears castaway at right tackle. No starting guards, mind you, in this game. We got no pressure, 0 pressure. 1 sack by Rapp. 0 pressure in this game. We come with an overload on the right side. Josh Wilson gets in, takes a bad angle. Christian Ponder outruns him. Then Josh Wilson is held. We send another blitzer. He's held as well. It allows Ponder to get outside the pocket. I don't know what the hell Ed Hockley was looking at. It's right in front of his face. It's holding. It's blatant. I don't know. Okay, so you don't call it. Greg Jennings chilling by the sidelines. Not a Redskin in sight. Got both his feet in bounds. Catches the football. 17 yards on 3rd and 13. Pick up the first down. Nothing. At that point, this is what I wrote. This is how you know I'm getting frustrated. Defense stinks. Blitz can't hit home. 3rd down conversion to Jennings. Then Ponder scrambled down to the 1-yard line. He gets injured. Doesn't matter. AD gets in. From there, it's 28-27. So you can hear the frustration in my notes. Defense stinks. And at that point, I knew we lost the game. Down 28-27. And the only saving grace at the time was Christian Ponder taking that shot. And for a minute, I said, maybe, just maybe, he fumbles this football. It goes out of bounds in the end zone. It's a touchback in our football. That would have been the game-changing play. We would have won the game if that happened. No, it goes out of bounds at the 1. And the only ray of hope that I had after they scored the touchdown is that Matt Castle is coming in the game. And Matt Castle sucks. He stinks. And so he's not going to run anywhere. He's not mobile like Christian Ponder. Remember I said in the preview for the game that Christian Ponder's mobility was going to cause us some problems. We don't handle mobile quarterbacks well because we're not athletic enough on the defensive side of the football. So I said, maybe, just maybe, this is our saving grace. A blessing in disguise that he goes down. Matt Castle comes in. And he's not running anywhere. If we get pressure, he's going to do something stupid. Well, you got to stop the run first and make him do something stupid first. That's another. You know what? Now that Ponder is going out, he killed us in this game. When he left the game, he was 17 of 21. And again, the numbers weren't huge. He wasn't, picking up chunks. but he was moving the sticks. He was efficient. We weren't putting pressure on him. We weren't getting to him. He was comfortable in the pocket. He was making throws. What was frustrating is that we didn't force the envelope. We didn't make Christian Ponder make special throws. We were playing off coverage. We were giving guys free releases. And they were hooking up on 4-yard routes. It was the quick game. They were beating us with the quick game. Come up, challenge these guys. And I think a lot of what we did defensively was dictated by Adrian Peterson. We had to come with 8 in the box, single high safety. So we were afraid to come up and challenge guys because we didn't want them to run by us. And we only had single high safety. And so I think that was a lot to blame for the guys not coming up and challenging Viking receivers. But I don't want to hear it, man. You got to make these guys work. You got to make Christian Ponder make some excellent throws. Make him thread the needle. I mean, guys were wide open. It was pitch and catch. It was 7-on-7. And he was able to go 17-21. And again, 2 of those incompletions, one was an interception, one was a slip, and one was a throwaway. So, I mean, he had one legitimate knockaway. It was just frustrating. And tip of the cap. I said I would tip my cap if Christian Ponder beat us because I said, if we stop Adrian Peterson and make Christian Ponder beat us and he beats us, tip of the cap. Well, tip of the cap. He beat us. I mean, what more you want me to say? Our defense stinks. They were the reason we lost this game. You can talk about the offense all you like, and I'll get to that at the end. But defense stinks, and that's the bottom line because I said so. So holding on Logan Paulson makes it 1st and 20, but Pierre Garçon picks up 18 and gets it to 2nd and 2 as we end the 3rd quarter. So now we're moving into the 4th quarter. It's 2nd and 2. And this is a vital drive. We got to get something. I mean, 2 straight drives of nothing. We've only gotten 1 field goal. We haven't sustained offense. The Vikings have scored 14 unanswered points. They've taken the lead now. We've got to do something. AM gets the 1st down. Then sack makes it 3rd and long. Then another sack forces us to punt. And then a terrible one at that. Vikes take over at midfield. I mean, you can't have a more devastating series of plays than that. You get the holding penalty, sends you back. You find a way to convert. You get 18 to Garçon, then 3 from AM, picks up the 1st down. Then you feel like, okay, maybe we can jumpstart this thing again. And you give up 2 consecutive sacks. Then you have to punt. And then to make matters worse, to just pile on, to kick a man when he's down, Sav Rocca comes out on another one of these funky punts trying to kick away from Marcus Sherrills. We saw this against Denver where he's kicking like 25-yard punts. He shanks it off the side of his foot trying to directional kick it out of bounds. And they get the ball in midfield. I mean, you're talking about a 1st down. Keep in mind, their kicker is Blair Walsh. The guy was 11 of 11 from 50 yards last season. So you're talking about a 1st down and maybe 2 or 3 yards after that 1st down. And you're in field goal range. Man, we are pathetic. So, 3rd and 9, Vikes get 25 to Simpson. This play right here epitomizes why we're not a good football team, okay? We stopped Adrian Peterson twice. They don't want to throw the ball. It's Matt Castle. They know the propensity for him to do something idiotic and give us momentum is very prevalent. So they don't want to throw the football. So it's 3rd and long. If it's 3rd and long, okay, and I'm trying to compose myself so I don't say anything ridiculous. If it's 3rd and long, explain this to me. If it's 3rd and long, why is it, okay, why is it that you don't have the proper personnel on the field to go against a 4 wide receiver set? Why is it? Why are we still in our base set? It'd be one thing if it was 3rd and 4 and the threat of Adrian Peterson taking a draw handoff from shotgun was in the playbook. At 3rd and 9, that's not a play option. That's not a play call that's coming. They're throwing the football, okay? So you need to have David Amerson, Josh Wilson, D'Angelo Hall, and E.J. Biggers all on the field at the same time with 2 safeties. I need a dime look at this point. 4 corners, 2 safeties, 1 linebacker. That's all I need on the field. Why is it that Perry Riley is in man-to-man coverage with Jerome Simpson in the slot? Can anybody answer that for me? Please. I'll give you a second. You don't have an answer, do you? What in the hell is going on with that call? Why is he on the field? In man-to-man coverage against arguably the Vikings' fastest receiver? Really? What did you think was going to happen? 25 yards on a beautifully thrown football by Matt Castle. I can't take anything away from him. He had to drop it in the bucket in between two defenders. Perry Riley trailing by about 3 yards because he was burnt to a crisp on the play. And, of course, Bakari Rambo showing up late to the party at the safety position, coming over late to make a tackle. So he dropped it in the bucket, but it shouldn't have been that way because he shouldn't have been in man-to-man coverage. What is Perry Riley doing in man-to-man coverage in a situation when you know the Vikings are going to pass? Inexcusable. I don't understand it. Hey, I'm just a lay fan that's been watching football for over 20 years. I don't know anything. So you go ahead and call the plays, Jim. But I'm going to tell you what, that was idiotic is what that was. So, after the big game, Vikings get a field goal. It's now 31-27. At this point, you can't allow them to score any more points. I want to win this game with a touchdown. We can't kick a field goal and win the game anymore. Now we got to score a touchdown to win. I don't want to score a touchdown to tie this game. And I definitely don't want to have to score twice to beat these guys. So don't give up a touchdown. I don't even want them kicking a field goal at this point. We got to get something. Damn it. Can we do something in the second half, please? Offensively. You see the defense is struggling. They're not going to win the game for us. You got to win the game now, offense. Take it upon yourself to go out and make the plays. And let me say this. Just for the record, I'm not blaming the offense. Because 27 points against the Minnesota Vikings should be enough to win. End of discussion. Nothing else to say there. So, Robert misses wide open Jay Reed on first down. Bad footwork. And we get one of these from Robert every single game. First down, play action fake. And it always happens when we are losing, trailing in the football game. We always decide to not run it on first down. Use play. I don't mind. You know, people get mad while we out running the football because play action fake is going to work. And he was open just like Santana Moss was open last week against San Diego. And Robert airmailed it 10 yards over his head. In this game, he did the same exact thing. And I think what happened on that play action fake was sort of a trickle-down effect from the previous possession. Okay? You can attribute this bad throw to what happened to him at the end of the last possession. 2 consecutive sacks. We went play action fake. He saw an ounce of pressure. And it wasn't imminent pressure. It wasn't guys bearing down on him, staring down a gun barrel, got to make a throw. It was guys starting to get off of their block and disengage and come after him. And he didn't step into the throw at all. This was all leg, bad footwork, airmails it, wide open Jay Reed. I'm talking about 45 yards on this play, easy, if he hits Jay Reed in stride. Instead, he misses him. Missed opportunity. Now, the bad part about missing on that play is 2nd and 10. It's 2nd and 10. So you got to hope that AM gets 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 just to make it third and manageable on this possession. And we're not picking up third down, so now you've put yourself in a bind by missing that play action fake. If you go play action fake on first down, you better hit it. But AM gets 7 and sets up 3rd and 3. So you dodged the bullet. Now you got to pick up 3rd and 3. You're in 3rd and manageable. Find a way to pick it up. We get sacked again. And the offensive line let us down. Chris Chester was manhandled in this game. He was thoroughly beaten. He got his ass handed to him. Kevin Williams came up to Chris Chester, took his lunch pail from him, and ate his damn lunch in front of him. And then opened up his thermos, opened up the mug, guzzled his drink, and burped right in his damn face. He was nasty. He was absolutely disgusting to Chris Chester. And Chris Chester did nothing about it. Disappointed. Absolutely disappointed. I'm usually talking about Tyler Columbus. Not you, Chris. That was disappointing. Reed Dowdy playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, tackle for loss on 80. What can I say? Reed Dowdy was phenomenal in this game. And that's what you get out of Reed Dowdy, generally speaking, when he's in at safety and we need him for run support. I told you. You guys always want to jump on Reed Dowdy's back and talk about him being a liability in pass coverage. That's not why he's in the game. He's in the game to be a run defender as a safety And I don't think there's anyone better on our football team that does it than Reed Dowdy. And so he stepped up in this game. But right after he gets a 3-yard loss on Adrian Peterson, here we go again, man. Our whole team shut it down in the second half, offensively and defensively. Bad tackling leads to 14 and a first down for AD, which ultimately leads to a Blair Walsh 40-yard field goal. It's 34-27 Minnesota. I said they couldn't get any more points. They couldn't get any more points. And we gave up a field goal. And the reason we gave up a field goal, I felt good after listen to this. I felt good after the Reed Dowdy stop. And I said, if we can get one more stop, because they don't want to throw the football with Matt Castle. I saw it on the last possession. They ran it on first down, they got nothing. They ran it again on second down, they got nothing. It was 3rd and 9. They were willing to run it twice on first and second down, no matter what the circumstance, and then turn around and they were willing to punt. They were willing to trade clock and time for a possession. They were willing to just hand it off to Adrian Peterson on first down. We stopped it for a 3-yard loss. They handed it off to him again, and there was nowhere to go. And then Adrian Peterson was being special. Adrian Peterson. This was one of those type of runs. Jump cut, breaks a tackle, jump cut in the hole. I don't know how he saw this back cut. I don't know how he saw this cutback lane. He has this back cut that is just insane. Breaks about 3 tackles in the hole. I don't know how he did it. Picks up 14 yards. I mean, to me, that was a play of the game. That was a back-breaking run. Because now they pick up the first down. Now they can settle in. Now they can eat up more clock. Now they can get in field goal range. They weren't going to convert. If we stop Adrian Peterson, and initially, if the first guy holds on to Adrian Peterson on that run, it's 3rd and 9 again. This time, I don't think Matt Castle is picking this up. I really don't. But like I said, offensively, defensively, we shut it down in the second half. We couldn't do anything right. So Hank now for a 9-yard gain, and this is the final possession. I mean, we let the Minnesota Vikings bleed the clock, and they bled us of our timeouts as well. We had to use all 3 of them, and I would have preferred to have seen Mike hold on to 1 of those timeouts. Used 2 of them, left them run the clock down to 3 minutes or so. I mean, 3 minutes. If you get it back with 2:40 and you got to go 80 yards, so be it. I mean, that's plenty of time with a timeout. I didn't see the need to have to use all 3. I always like to keep a timeout in my back pocket. You never know when you're going to need a timeout. And we sure could have used one at the end of the football game. Even though the Vikings provided us with more than enough timeouts at the end, I still would like to have kept a timeout in my back pocket. But again, we don't know how to manage the clock anyway. So what did you expect? So here's the last possession, essentially. This is our last-ditch effort. And at this point, I had already given up. I had already said, even though we had a chance with the football to tie this game, and if it's me, I think Mike. And I think Mike was going to go for it. I really do. If we score a touchdown, I think he was going to go for it and win the football game. But to me, it didn't matter thinking about was he going to go for it, because you had to score the touchdown first. And I didn't see us scoring a touchdown. I really didn't. Because, again, that's me being preconditioned to think the worst. All of a sudden now, we've scored 3 points in the second half. We've been outscored 20-3 in the second half. You expect me to think we're just going to march down the field in crunch time when we got to have it and go get a touchdown? What does Robert Griffin III look like? Andrew Luck? And yeah, I just said it. Andrew Luck scores a touchdown right there. Robert, not so much. Because Andrew Luck makes reads and goes through progressions. He's not a one-read quarterback. He's not going to fixate on the first read and make sure he throws the football to that guy. And I'll tell you why I'm bitching and complaining in a second. But here's the final drive, essentially in a nutshell. Hank for 9. Then AM for 10. Then a couple of runs, unsuccessful. We tried to hand it off to DY on 3rd down and 1. He doesn't get it. And if you're going to hand it off to DY on a 3rd and 1 play, needs to be from the I formation, needs to be a fullback dive, not from read option and you hand him the football. It's too far away. So it's 4th and 1, and we go to the 2-minute warning. And you come back from break and you're thinking. So I've essentially had about 3 minutes to just sit and think about how we need to pick up this 4th and 1. We come back, we run read option. Robert gets 10. Whew. Okay, drive still alive. Halou for a screen on 8, and I thought there was more yards to be gained on that screen. I just wish Roy broke more tackles. That's all I wish. But it was a good run. Solid. I just felt like there was more yards to be gained on that play. That was a beautifully executed and set up screen. Just thought it was more there. Then Halou for 6 on a dump off. That's a first down. And we burn a timeout. Cool. The Vikings burn a timeout. It seemed like we had timeouts left. Because normally a team doesn't help you out with timeouts down the stretch. And Leslie Frazier's explanation was our guys were gassed. Look, to each his own. That's why you're a head coach. And head coaches have to make tough decisions at the end of ball games. That's why you get paid the bucks and we don't. So it turned out to work in his favor. He called 2 timeouts. After that timeout, Jay Reed for 18 down to the 7-yard line. Then we hurry up, we get up there, and Roy Halou runs the football down to the 4-yard line, and the Vikings call a timeout again. Great. We really needed that. It was about 38 seconds left on the clock, and that was going to eat up at least 18 seconds, getting up, getting the referee to spot the football, yada, yada, yada. So, hey, I'll take it. I will take it. So now it's 2nd and goal. They call timeout. Incomplete on 2nd down. 3rd down, this is the one that really aggravated me because this was a combination of 2 guys that had been stellar for us all day not hooking up. We run a natural pick play. Santana's running an out route. Pierre is running a slant hard off of that out. It's supposed to set up a natural pick. The Denver Broncos do it all the time. And Robert is supposed to hit Pierre in stride on the slant, and he's going to walk in. And that's exactly what would have happened if Robert doesn't throw the football high. He panicked, bad footwork, ball sails. Pierre has to leap up. It's still a catch that I expect Pierre to make. He doesn't make it. It goes off his fingertips. It's now 4th down. That was the one to score on. That was the play to get in the end zone on. Bad execution by 2 guys that had executed so flawlessly all game long. Couldn't connect on that play. That was huge. That sets up 4th down. And I didn't like the play call. Let me just say that. I take that back. I don't have a problem with the play call. I didn't like Robert's decision on this play. Don't throw that corner route. You didn't have enough space. You didn't let it go early enough. And why are we throwing the ball to Santana Moss? Why? If you're going to throw a fade route, and we threw a fade route to somebody on 2nd down, out of bounds, it wasn't even close. If you're going to throw a fade route, throw the fade route to Jay Reed, like we did against Chicago in the corner of the end zone. Why isn't Jay Reed getting a target down in the red zone? I feel like he's our most reliable target down there. Why isn't he getting a target down there? Then Hankerson wins on that 4th down play. Then Robert decides to throw that corner route. This isn't Philly last season where you had about 15 yards worth of real estate to throw that corner route and Santana catches it and gets both feet down. This isn't Detroit 2 years ago where that same play worked. You don't have enough space for that. So go to Hank on the slant. He won. Inside. Throw it to Hank. Touchdown. Go for 2. Win the game. No, Robert doesn't go through his progressions. He came out of the huddle and predetermined that he was throwing the football to Santana Moss on that corner route. Don't predetermine. See what the defense is giving you. If you got one-on-one across the board, pick the easiest throw. You pick the toughest throw out of every single one of those 4 routes. It was a 4-man route, and you picked the toughest throw. Actually, I think it was empty backfield, but Roy Halou never counts on that. You picked the toughest throw out of the 5 options you had. And Hank, the easiest of the 5 options, runs a slant. He gives him an out move, comes inside, wins on the slant, and you ignore him. You go straight to the corner route because that's what you do. You predetermine where you're going with the football. It bit us. And it took us. Santana doesn't maintain possession and doesn't get 2 feet down. Anyway, game over. And I had already knew the game was over when the Vikings were on the possession to take the lead at 27-28. So I had already come to grips with the fact that we were going to lose, but my heart was still beating 100 miles per hour because we had a shot. We had a shot. But again, we don't score there because we're the Redskins, and that's not what we do. We don't come from behind and win. We're not a good enough football team. So essentially for me, this game, defense let us down. I won't put this on the offense. 27 points should be more than enough to beat the Minnesota Vikings. If Adrian Peterson only runs for 77 yards on 20 carries, that should be enough to beat the Minnesota Vikings. But when you let Christian Ponder and you let Matt Castle eat you up, tip of the cap to the Vikings, our defense stinks. We don't get pressure on the quarterback. We get held. We don't get flags. But I'm not going to cry about that because you got to make your breaks. The officials aren't calling it. Make them see that you're being held. You know, over-exaggerate it. We don't do anything. We just get held. We're silent holders. We get held silently. We don't fuss. We don't complain. We don't do anything. We just get held. And we're not a good football team. That's what it boils down to. Last year, our defense was bad, but we forced turnovers. We were plus 17 in the turnover department last season. And we'd be lucky if we finished plus 3 this year in the turnover differential. Because we don't force enough turnovers, and we still turn it over ourselves. Now, we didn't have any turnovers in this game, but we only generated 1 turnover against a team with Christian Ponder that turns the football over, and oh, by the way, they're 1-7. We didn't generate any turnovers. We're not a good football team. And so we're not going on any magical run, so put that out of your mind. What this season now for me is, and why this season still matters, is because I don't want the St. Louis Rams to have an early first-round pick with my first-round pick. Our first-round pick that we had to surrender in the Robert Griffin III trade is the St. Louis Rams. And the reason why I didn't care about those picks is because, one, we got Robert Griffin III, which is a franchise quarterback. I'd do that trade all over again. And B, number 2, I felt like we were going to be a good team. When we gave them those picks and we made it to the postseason and we won 10 games, I said, we're a good team now. You're going to be getting picks in the 20s and possibly in the 30s now. Those picks mean nothing to me. Those are like second rounders because we're going to be a good football team. Now we stink. Oh no, we suck again. So all of a sudden now, that first round pick, that could be a top 10, top 15 pick now. All of a sudden, that's a heck of a pick. And I don't want to give the Rams a heck of a pick. I want that pick to be as high as it can possibly be, or as low. I don't know how you want to call it. I usually say high. But I guess that would constitute 1, 2, or 3 would be high, so let's call it low. That's probably what I should say. So I want that pick to be about 18, where you get some middle of the pack stuff. I don't want them getting anything elite with my pick. So that's what this season is about now, because we can't win the division. We won't. You know what? I got to stop saying that we can't win the division. Even though we're 3-6, we're only 2.5 games out. But to win a division, I've said this all along. 9-7 is going to win this division, if not 10-6. And I think 9-7 is going to win it, but we've already lost 2 games in the division. So unless we go 4-0 in the division, we're not going to win the division anyway. Because 9-7 means you're tied with somebody else, which means you have to win the division via tiebreakers. For instance, the Cowboys are already 3-0 in the division. And they have a road victory at Philadelphia, and they have to come to Washington. They have to go to New York. They can beat New York in New York, and they can beat us in Washington. And they're going to beat Philly at home. So, I mean, the Cowboys essentially have already put themselves in a prime position to be 4-2 in the division. And if we split with them, but we only end up 3-3 in the division, we can't win via tiebreaker. So we're not winning the division. We're not going to the playoffs. Just give up. I've given up. Don't allow yourself to be let down by this team anymore this season. Okay? Put up a defense mechanism. Put up a wall around yourself so you don't emotionally invest too much in, so that you're not exhausted after you realize the team is going to let you down again, like I was last night. I was emotionally invested in that game. And I was taxed. I was drained last night. I was so down after that game, I couldn't even go to sleep. That one hurt. That one hurt. I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. My Redskins spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to the Redskins. I apologize for keeping you here so long, but you understand my pain. You knew I had to vent. You knew this episode was going to be a little bit longer than it normally is, and so I apologize for that. If you don't watch the whole thing, I understand, but I hope you did, because I'm pretty sure you share a lot of the same feelings and echo a lot of the same sentiments that I do. And so I appreciate you guys for lending me your ear, for listening to me vent, because I needed this. This was therapeutic for me. I needed to get this off my chest. I was having a bad day. I feel a lot better now because I got this off of my chest. This is like a huge burden just released and freed off of me. And so I thank you, all of you, every single one of you, for listening to me rant about this loss last night that was tough to take. So I've got the Redskins name change video coming to you shortly. Should be up sometime today following this video. So if you're watching this, be on the lookout for that as well. But man, we had an opportunity to go 4-5 and essentially have a bye week. That was step 2 of the process. But we failed the program. I feel like a drug addict, and we were on the road to recovery, and that's what it was called, the road to recovery, the road back to 500. And we relapsed. And now we're at 3-6. And I don't know. I just don't know. I've all but given up. Like I said, I've put up a wall around myself so that I don't find myself feeling this bad, this down after another loss. Because I feel like we're done now. Now it's for fun almost. And like I said, I wasn't ready for this season to be meaningless. I wasn't ready to watch the Redskins play meaningless football, but we're not quite at that point yet. But a loss to the Eagles in Philadelphia will do exactly that. So I guess where we are now at 3-6 is where we were a week ago against San Diego and where we were 3 weeks ago against Chicago. Gotta win. Season's on the line. This wasn't a make or break your season type of game. I just wanted to get back to 500. That was imperative. Well, we can still get back to 500. Now you just got to take a harder road to do so. Now you got to beat not only the Eagles and the Giants, now you got to beat the 49ers. Good luck. Good luck with that. And oh, by the way, after the 49ers, you got to beat the Chiefs. Good luck with that. So we just made it that much harder on ourselves, but I'm done, man. I'm done. I don't want to talk your head off any longer than I already have. I thank you for lending me your ear. I needed that. That was very therapeutic. I needed that. Thanks, guys. Hail to the Redskins.